Alright, time for more Mystery Dungeon. As you can see, well, first things first, I've changed the HUD colour in order to be green, because at this point we are past the halfway point of the game. So, I don't know, I thought I'd signify that by changing the look of the window. Also, so before you go into Mount Blaze, you get two options. You can either go to Rock Path or Mount Blaze itself. Rock Path is about 3 floors long, and it's just a tiny little dungeon, essentially like a place in the Makahita dojo that you can go to in order to level up if you need to. I am a little underleveled. I mean, I'm getting my ass handed to me by the Zubat thanks to Leech Life. Yeah, I'm a little underleveled at this point, but spoiler alert, I manage. I manage just fine because we're about to go into a fire dungeon, and I'm a water type, so... Yeah, this is just here if you want to grind up a bit, although, really, if you want to grind, just head in and out of Mount Blaze over and over. Unless you have a lot of money on you, and you don't want to get rid of it. Because yeah, there's no way to store your money during the fugitive section of the game, which is potentially an oversight. I'm guessing it is, because, you know, that's strange, but oh well, Rock Path is pretty inconsequential. You really don't get that much experience from it. I mean, I found a max elixir, so that's worth something, right? Yeah, we are about to go into Mount Blaze, which is the second dungeon out of 1, 2, 3, 4 dungeons in the fugitive section. I think there's 4. So yeah, I'm not doing too well here. Which had me worried when I was recording this. I was thinking, oh god, am I really that underleveled? But I'm not really, only by, say, 2 levels. Level 20 is a good spot to be for this place. But yeah, I actually found it harder in Rock Path here than it is in, well, than I was doing in Mount Blaze. I found it easier there, so God knows what that's about. Anyway, I can't remember when we got Bullet Seed last recording session, but I just remember that, yeah, it's just amazing. I love Bullet Seed so much. Obviously, if you're a grass type yourself, well, first of all, God rest your soul, in this game anyway. And second of all, yeah, I mean, get Bullet Seed in the game actually isn't too bad. You just need a lot of max elixirs if you're just going to spam Bullet Seed though. But, we should be getting out of here soon. I think there's 3 floors, maybe 5. Maybe 5, I'm not sure, but, I tried to use what little experience I got from here to, you know, level up a little bit more. Maybe there's 4 floors, or, you know, there's 3 full floors, and the 4th one is the exit. But yeah, you find Pidgeots alongside Zubats, which is strange, but I guess another good thing to use this dungeon for is to find any good items. You know, because I found that max elixir earlier, and you can't buy anything at this stage of the game, so we just have to run on what you find in the dungeons. Which hasn't even crossed my mind before, because it's really not that big of a deal. Granted, I stockpile a lot of stuff, so I'm usually pretty safe. But at this stage, when it comes to recording the game, I'm still at the same spot that well, not the same spot that I was last time, but I have finished editing the 4th recording session, got that ready to go, and the 5th one that I have yet to record should be the last one, really. And here I was walking back and forth to try and get Henry to use Bullet Seed. I don't know why I decided to eat here. It's the end of the dungeon, right? Maybe there's 5 floors. I'm not sure. But I do know that I'm staying here a lot longer than I would have thought. And Poison Point. Poison Point, you know, it sucks in mainline, but here it's even worse. Because Poison is just such a pain to deal with. So yeah, you can see I just give up and just go to the next. What's the exit? So yeah, for the next few dungeons, whenever you get a choice as to which dungeon you want to go into, the bottom one is always something similar to that, like Rock Path, and the top one is always the actual dungeon you're supposed to go into. So I was just looking at the stats there. So Mount Blaze, it's similar to Mount Thunder in that it has its main section and then a break and then a peak section. Also similar to Mount Blaze in that it's Mount Thunder in that it's very long, very long. And also this music track that was playing, there we go, now it's playing, is Mount Blaze's theme, and it's fantastic. So yeah, I wouldn't say it tops Mount Thunder or Great Canyon's theme, but it's definitely up there. Alright, so Mount Blaze, I want to say has 18 floors in total, probably more. Maybe even 20 floors in total. It's a long dungeon. And, you know, if you're a grass type at this stage, I'm sorry for your loss or your losses, because you're going to be dying over and over likely. But if you're a water type like I am, this dungeon isn't a problem at all. It's very... The toughest stuff you have to deal with is that Pidgeot or something like... I think Coughing is in this dungeon, maybe. Stuff that isn't fire type, really. And if you're a fire type yourself, you'll have a pretty neutral experience. So this is maybe one of my favourite dungeons in the game. There's a dungeon later on, though, that's extremely visually and thematically similar to this. Where it almost feels like a sequel to Mount Blaze. Sequel. But that dungeon's much tougher, obviously, it's later on. I'm also soon to be getting ready to... Well, there we go, level 19 there. I'm soon to be getting ready to start my new personal playthrough of Explorers of the Sky. Because I remember nothing about it. I've beaten it, but I remember nothing about it other than the final dungeon and final boss being stupid hard, and XI seeds being pretty damn useful, and that's it. That's all I remember. So I'm excited to try it again and see how I do. Also, I'm not sure if this is the case in any... I don't think it is in any Mystery Dungeon game, but is there one of the Mystery Dungeon games where you can transfer Pokemon to mainline Pokemon? I doubt there is, but it seems like something that Mystery Dungeon 2 would have done. You know, maybe you could transfer from Time, Darkness and Sky to Diamond, Pearl, Platinum or something. Maybe, I'm honestly not sure. So yeah, you're going to be dealing with a lot of Magbies, Slugmas, Burns. Yeah, Flash, that's the name of the... No, it's like... Yeah, it's Flame Body. Flashpoint's a different ability. Flame Body is what Slugmas have, and, you know, if you happen to even use a special attack on them, like I use Water Gun on them and still burn me, they'll burn you. Burn is as bad as poison in this game. Luckily, well, luckily for me, I'm not really using many physical attacks. Yeah, it does function the same way that it does in mainline, where if you're burned, your physical attack stat is halved, which is worse than the actual burn itself. But as you can see here, I don't know if we've seen them yet, I doubt it, but there's lava tiles. And Slugma, a fire type, just went over the top of it, so yeah. If you're a fire type, you can walk along them just as water types can walk on water. There's this dungeon and the next dungeon, well, not the next dungeon, but the one that I said is like a pseudo sequel to this dungeon. Also, yeah, you can walk diagonally across that. That have lava tiles, unless it's one of the post-game dungeons, because I'm not sure if any of the post-game dungeons have lava tiles or not. There's a lot of money on this floor. Oh yeah, nummels as well. All sorts of fire types. See, I've got no fear in this dungeon. I was having more trouble with Rock Path. Water types really... I mean, fire types have it the best in this game. Water types, Water types do pretty well for themselves as well. They don't... I can only think of Mount Thunder, where they can be weak to whatever I'm in the dungeon's using, but granted, when we went through Mount Thunder, I don't recall... I think the most I can remember is an Electabuzz using Thunder Punch. That's the most amount of electric moves that I can remember in the dungeon, and I don't even see what Zapdos could do, so... Yeah, water types don't really suffer too much in this game. Suffer's the wrong word. Have too much trouble. And there's another Bullet Seed TM that Nummel just dropped. See, my face lit up when I saw it, but you know, I already have Bullet Seed and I'm not dragging in anyone else to the dungeon. Well, I can't for the fugitive section anyway, so... the same guy that I mentioned last recording session, the same guy who did the epic orchestral remixes of a bunch of Mystery Dungeon songs, he did one for Mount Blaze as well, and that sounds much better than this, which is already great, which is, you know, already a great song. But the remix he did is fantastic. So if you catch me running back and forth here, it's probably me trying to get Trico to use Bullet Seed on whatever's sleeping. He's very selective about when he will and will not use it. I don't know why I wouldn't just stand in place and attack over and over, because that would be more likely to get him to use Bullet Seed. So eventually I just give up and go for the normal myself. Another power band. Yeah. Remember when those were rare? Special and power bands were rare and you could never find them? No, trust me. By the end of this game, you're just going to be rolling in special and power bands. So don't really worry if you can't find one early on, because you will find some. You will absolutely find some. So Shuckle's being painful here and just using Encore on us over and over. But the icon for being encored, the status condition for being encored, is the same icon for when you're low in health. The little exclamation mark above your head, not the, you know, not the Metal Gear exclamation mark, but similar at least. This dungeon, though, it is. I'm hesitant to say it's one of my favourites because, you know, it's just sort of a dungeon. I don't remember much from it. It's yeah, probably my favourite fugitive section dungeon, I'd say. Granted, the dungeon, like a dungeon in these games, are measured by really the Pokemon within them and their music. And that's it. And their floor length, that's it. You know, not the layout, because that's always random. That's you know. Well, even Pikmin 2 had similar dungeon, randomly generated dungeons, and it was a little more. You could recognize each dungeon separately because they each had a few floors that were pre-made and they couldn't be randomly generated, so you could tell which dungeon was what. Speaking of which, I would love to do Pikmin 2 and 3. I've been meaning to do those games for like 6 or 7 years at this point. 6 years, I think. The trouble is, Pikmin 2 is on the longer side because I'd 100% it. Because really, you can't just play through any Pikmin game and not 100% it. It's like 3D Mario in that regard, because how often do you see people play through a 3D Mario game and not get every star or shine sprite or... Well, I mean, I can forgive it for Sunshine because, ugh, it's, that's neither here nor there. Well, Odyssey, really, because there's so many moons. So unfortunately, Rapidash is painful and runs away. And of course, we can't get across lava tiles to chase it down, so... Curse in this game is useless. I mean, well, you know, the regular curse, if you're not a ghost type, it's useless because, curse, well, because of the way it works, where it lowers your speed, in mainline that's fine, because it just makes it so you're probably going to go second on your turn. But in Mystery Dungeon, ugh. It doesn't reduce your speed, it slows you, because there is no speed reduction here. Being slowed is the worst because it means you go once every 2 turns instead of once every turn, and that is the worst. So I'm trying to wait for this Rapidash to come out, but it's not gonna, because it's a pansy. Do I give up? Yeah, I give up. Okay. No, I don't. Just leave it be. Who cares? Used one water gun. And this Rapidash knows that it doesn't have to get closer, but so does Henry. So Henry just decimates it. Yeah, if you know the trend of the... We fought Zapdos for Mount Thunder and now we're in the Fire Mountain. Who are we going to fight here? You'll never guess who we're going to fight here. That's if you know your Pokemon lore. Would have been cool though if it was actually Arcanine or something. Well, it wouldn't be as cool as, you know, who we're going to fight, but... Because Arcanine was intended to be one of the 3 legendary birds. I mean, they eventually became 3 legendary birds. But Arcanine was just lumped in alongside the other 2. And they thought, hang on, this doesn't fit. So let's just make Arcanine a regular Pokemon and give him a pre-evolution. And we'll make some other legendary fire type Pokemon that's a bird. Then they made Ho-Oh. No, they didn't. They made someone else. Ho-Oh is, well, I'm thinking of Hollow in the anime, right? In the first episode, where it has that lackluster color scheme and design because it's just sort of, you know, it's a Pokemon that doesn't exist yet, and they haven't really. Well, I can't put into words what I'm trying to think of, but the other option is that you know, it was an early design for Ho-Oh, and they hadn't finalised the design, so they just went off one of the rough sketches or something. Which is strange because it's got no rainbow wings, it's got none of that. It's interesting though. Because when did the anime come out? 98 in Japan? I think so. And 99 internationally. I believe so. Anyway, I don't think... Maybe, I think Ho-Oh and Lugia are in the post-game. Because I don't remember that they're not in the main story. This story is very Gen 1 and 3 focused. Just like the GBA itself. Not the Pokemon GBA games at least, so...